Hello everyone, welcome back to EDUHUNT video lecture series. We have finished discussing about various hormones and how they control our bodily metabolic activities and functions, and the secretions, the nature of these secretions, and what happens if their secretion is abnormal. And we have also started answering multiple choice questions previously asked in NEET examination. Let us answer the remaining questions of the worksheet. Cell mediated as well as humoral responses, that is immunity response, is provided by. It is provided by thymosin, which hormone interacts with membrane-bound receptor and does not normally enter the target cell. That is among these four options, that is follicle-stimulating hormone, thyroxine, estrogen and cortisol. Among these four, follicle-stimulating hormone, it interacts with the membrane-bound receptor. Receptors are the chemical structures. They are present on the membrane and they receive the hormones. They interact with the hormone and they show responses. To respond the organ, this interaction is necessary. The interaction between the receptor and the signal molecule. The hormone is the signal molecule here. So, the receptor binds to the hormone binds to the receptor that is present on the membrane, and the interaction will result in a cascade of events sometimes. Anyway, it does not normally enter the target cell is the follicle stimulating hormone. Glycogenesis, that is formation of glycogen from the glucose, is glycogenesis, is a result of the hormone of formation of glycogen is take place by how can we say, pancreas is responsible for the blood glucose regulation. So in that pancreas we have seen two types of cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells which produce glucagon are that glucagon responsible for the hyperglycemia. It is called the hyperglycemic hormone. Hyper means raise in the glucose level. So it does not allow the blood glucose to utilize by the body or the cells. Cellular utilization decreases. So obviously it leads to the lower utilization and accumulation of this glucose, and finally it results in raise in the blood glucose level. So glycogenesis is formation of glucose. So it results in the it is by the beta cells of the pancreas, alpha cells of the pancreas, beta cells of the pancreas, thyroid gland and adrenal gland. Beta cells of the beta cells of the pancreas this is an indirect question. We have to understand which hormone is responsible for glycogenesis first. Glycogenesis is one of the activities of glucose regulation. We know that alpha cells and beta cells, they secrete glucagon and insulin respectively. So the insulin is responsible. Insulin results in glycogenesis, but glycogenesis is formation of glycogen. Glycogenolysis is the breakdown of glycogen. Alpha cells, they release glucagon hormone. That hormone breaks down glycogen into glucose. As a result of that, the glucose level raises, and also glucagon does not allow the cells to utilize this glucose for the sake of production of energy. In that way, it causes rise in the glucose level. But the beta cells, which secrete insulin hormone, they cause the breakdown of the glucose, and also brings the cells to utilize the glucose present in the blood. That is, cellular utilization of glucose increases. In case of alpha cells, they reduces. That is why the cellular glucose level rises up. But the beta cells, while secreting insulin hormone, it causes the conversion of glucose to glycogen, called the glycogenolysis, and this results in transformation or conversion of glucose, and also it leads to the utilization of the cellular glucose. Ultimately, it causes reduction in the glucose level, glucose reduction. Because I am saying this question in this way, in this elaborated way, because there should be a demarcation and there should be a clear-cut differentiation between the secretion of alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells secrete glucagon, which causes rise in the glucose level in the blood. So it is the hyperglycemic hormone, whereas the beta cells, which secrete insulin, causes decrease in the glucose level. It increases the utilization of the cellular glucose for the sake of energy production, and also it helps in reducing the glucose level in the blood. Next is, which of the following is the function of testosterone? Testosterone is a male hormone, that is sex hormone. It stimulates muscular growth and aggressiveness. Definitely, there is a difference between masculine and feminine body. A musculature is different in male organisms, that is male individuals. Even aggressiveness and it influences male sexual behavior, also called libido. Yes, definitely it does. It causes anabolic or synthetic effect on protein carbohydrate metabolism. So all these are the functions of testosterone. So all of these. ANF is a peptide hormone and is secreted from ANF. We have seen ANF. ANF is atrial natriuretic hormone or factor. Natriuretic factor is a factor responsible for increase in the sodium level. It is secreted by the atria of heart. So it is given as in gastrointestinal tract, kidney, post-pituitary gland, and none of these. So heart or the atria. of heart, they secrete this factor, peptide hormone. Which hormone acts on exocrine part of pancreas? We know that pancreas is a heterocrine organ or heterocrine gland which secretes both enzymes as well as hormones. Exocrine part of pancreas is GIP, insulin, secretin, steatopsin. Secretin. The hormone that supports pregnancy and stimulates mammary glands. That stimulates mammary glands for the formation of alveoli for storing milk is secreted from. That is prolactin hormone. So we need to first identify the hormone responsible for that supports pregnancy and stimulates mammary glands for the formation of alveoli for storing milk and secreted from. That is anterior pituitary, Graafian follicle, posterior pituitary, corpus luteum. Anterior pituitary part which releases 6 different hormones we have seen, that is growth hormone, prolactin, melanocyte stimulating hormone. All these hormones, all 6 adenocorticotropic hormone, all these 6 hormones are secreted by anterior pituitary gland. Posterior pituitary gland is a neurohypophysis which secretes oxytocin and vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called antidiuretic hormone. First of all, we should know the different glands, endocrine glands and their secretions. I have already mentioned that all of you take down these glands in one side and their secretions and even defects. Make a table with all these functions of the hormones, which part they are secreted by which part of the pituitary gland, or which glands, which endocrine glands secrete these different hormones and their functions and their disorders associated with these glands, hormones, secretions. If you do that, it will become easy for you to understand which part of the pituitary gland, because pituitary gland has 3 different parts, anterior pituitary, intermediate part, that is middle part, and the next one is the posterior part. Anterior part constitutes the primary part, and the posterior part neurohypophysis we call it as anterior part is adenohypophysis and posterior part neurohypophysis. So the answer is anterior pituitary gland, which supports pregnancy and stimulates mammary glands for the formation of alveoli for storing milk. And for release of this milk, oxytocin is another hormone that is produced by the posterior pituitary gland, that is responsible for secretion of milk from the mammary glands. The hormone that suppresses the immune system is the cortisol. Actually, we have a confusion between cortisol, adrenaline, especially these two, because adrenaline is the hormone secreted by the medulla of the adrenal gland, medulla. We know that there are 2 different regions in the adrenal gland. The central region is called the medulla, and the peripheral region as the cortex. In this cortex also we have three different zones, and cortisol, mineral corticoids, glucocorticoids and sex corticoids are the three different hormones secreted by the three different zones of the cortex. So cortisol is glucocorticoid which suppresses the immune system. So with this we have finished answering the first worksheet. In the next session, we'll going to answer the next worksheet. Goodbye.